Hey y'all, my name is Brittany, like most people call me B. I'm a mentor for the Effingham County Navigator Team group. And I started that group with my wife Heather. Next slide, please. Has anybody ever seen Love on Spectrum? Yeah. Actually, the US show just come out this week, actually. And this show is what brought me here today. I'm a big wuss. Oh, what do you want me to choose? Watching this show just told me that people desire friendship, desire love. So we sat down and I was like, we really need something like this for the community. I said, yeah, someone needs to do that. Next thing I know, she's talking to Chloe. And she's coming back home and she's like, we should do this. I don't know. So we started talking, what are we gonna do? What do we have to offer? Is there really a need? And one of the big questions we asked ourselves, I can get the next slide, please. What about our own diversity? How our parents, when I see two women that love each other, lead a group, our parents are gonna bring their kids. Are we gonna be abrasiveness that not allow people to come join us? And we finally decided that if that was going to be a problem, then if they didn't want people seeing their kids differently, they shouldn't see us differently. Next slide, please. If y'all haven't met DJ, that's DJ. Shelby's here, so I'm not going to say it, but he's kind of my favorite. When I first met DJ, it was at Navigator Baseball night. And I walked up to him and introduced myself, and I'll tell you, I was scared to do. I didn't know how to talk to him, or I thought I did. I walked up to him and said, hey, DJ, and he looks up to me, he goes, where's Heather? I don't know. Baseball. So, yeah. Next slide, please. So how did I overcome my fear? Honestly, I still get nervous. I get passionate. Even time a new member shows up, I worry about how I'm going to talk to them. Are they nonverbal? And I'm going to try to talk to them, and I'm going to put my foot in their mouth. But I'm very fortunate to have a wife. She guides me, lets me know when I'm out of line. But honestly, all I had to do was be myself, be human, as the group before me said. And the video about don't make it weird. I'm gonna have to tell myself, because as I was writing my notes down, getting prepared, one of my quotes was, you won't yell at a blind person. And I was reading through with Heather, and she goes, let's change that. We gotta change that. I said, what did I say? She said, you gotta put the person first. Person who is blind. I'm still learning. I make mistakes. But you know what? I get up the next day and I get right back at it. And I'd like to say I dove in to overcome my fear, but next slide, please. It's more like a belly flop. Yeah, I belly flopped in. I got a where's Heather a lot. BJ, because everybody knew Heather before her come in. But I smiled, I listened, I asked questions. What kind of music do you like? Shelby's gone, where's she at? There she is. Shelby's a music lover. I was just a friend. Sometimes I wasn't here. Sometimes I like to talk, so I was talking. It was really just that easy. Next slide, please. What was the number one question we get asked by people? It wouldn't be what you would think. Parents show up, and the number one question they ask us, next slide, please. Which one's yours? We don't have a child with a disability. And that was really confusing for a lot of parents. Why we would volunteer our time to do this. And first we didn't have a good answer. So it was like, oh, no. And over time, it changed to all of them. Next slide, please. These are just a few pictures of my friends, people I was scared to talk to until I just belly flopped in. Joey's up there, DJ, my man, my new friend Kyle, my friend Trey, if you don't know, that's my friend Laura Lee. Wallace down at the bottom, he drives a dump truck. Next slide, please. So now, when DJ sees me, or sees Heather really, it's where's B? All because I just belly flopped in. Next slide, please. So I'm here to tell you, don't let your fear stop you from embracing diversity. I almost did, and I would add all these great friends that I have now. So I'm here to tell you, if you've got a person, a young adult that is interested in being my friend, and I'd love to have them, y'all bring them my way. More friends, the better. And thank you for having me. Sorry for crying.
Good morning, everybody. So I am not going to have a podium or table. So I'm going to save you guys the awkwardness of watching me fumble. And I'm going to sit down and read my speech, if that's okay. All right. So good morning. I do not usually do this kind of thing, so bear with me. My name is Brittany Stout. I am 29 years old. I was born and raised here in Effingham County. I work at B&B Care Services, which is how I was invited to come speak with you all today. I was born with dwarfism. There are many different types of dwarfism, but I was born with spondyloepiphyseal dysplasia congenita, or SED. What does dwarfism mean? That's a good question. Because to me, it just means that I'm small. It's a very small factor in my life, and it always has been. To me, it really only ever meant that I have to go to my eye doctor or heart doctor once a year and get that checked. But there are many other interesting things about me, and dwarfism is most obvious, but probably the least interesting. So I never really get the chance to step back and appreciate my diagnosis and what that means. So I really appreciate the opportunity of doing that today. I was born, next slide, yeah, thank you. I was born on June 11, 1992. There was not a lot of knowledge about dwarfism at that time, and raising a child with a rare form of dwarfism or any disability, as Ms. Colleen said, does not come with a user manual. I'm the only one in my family who was small. I was born to two very young, with very capable parents, and I have an older sister that is 2 years older than myself. When my mom was pregnant with me, the word dwarfism was mentioned. However, my mom's doctor thought I was just going to be a small baby, but I was born with dwarfism. But it was not much of a surprise. My mom said she always knew that because I was not very active when she was pregnant with me, so she kind of always knew. When I was born with underdeveloped lungs and I was not breathing. I was immediately airlifted to Memorial, where my mom followed me right after giving birth, naturally. Got in a car and followed me to Memorial. So I always thought that was very cool. I kept RSVP and was kept on oxygen for the first 2 years, but after the first 2 years, I was pretty healthy. And I just want to point out that the school systems here have always been wonderful to my parents and I. Our school system have always had my best interest at heart, and they've always been there to guide my parents, and they did the best they could, along with my parents, with unfamiliar territory, and I was never bullied here in Effingham. I was born on June 11th, 1992, and there was not a lot of, at the age of 4, my parents put me in Head Start pre-K in an attempt to socialize me with other children with disabilities and special needs. In kindergarten, I was held back due to being pulled out of school for most of the year for a spinal fusion surgery. Prior to this surgery, my dad got onto a computer that he really had no idea how to work, in hopes to find me a doctor. And he found Dr. Gray in Atlanta, Georgia, who was familiar with my type of dwarfism. So they had to take a bone out of my hip and fuse it to my neck. I wore a halo brace for about 6 months. So in ninth grade, I struggled throughout elementary school and middle school. The work became very hard, and in third grade, I was placed in a special ed class for half my year, half a day for half the year to kind of work on my penmanship. I was not very good at writing. I still could not count money. I still could not tell time. So they put me in a special ed class with other children to help kind of make up for that. In ninth grade, though, I found my way. I chose healthcare as my pathway to graduate. When I found the medical field, it was a game changer. I really started to find myself academically, and it wasn't until ninth grade that I really started to take control of my own education and finally felt motivated. Through healthcare, I really did find some form of confidence, and I felt capable of learning and really grasping the information for the first time. And I kind of taught myself how my brain works and how I learned, and I started applying that to every subject. Throughout high school, I had a very great high school experience, and I graduated with my class of 2011, and I even snagged a scholarship. I would say with my experience in our school system, there's not a lot that I could correct them on, but I would just say avoid seclusion if at all possible. Secluding children with disabilities from their classmates can be very emotionally stunning. I was always surrounded by adults all the time. I was put out of class for assessments, tutoring, test accommodations, and just check-ins. In my experience, it stunted me not only academically, but also socially, making it seem unapproachable for, other children to come up to me. But like I said, the school systems were always wonderful to me. In high school even, they built me so many different things to accommodate me. Cafeteria chairs, platforms so I could reach the science labs in high school. They were very, very, very awesome. When I was born with deformities. My legs were not straight. Around 11th grade, it became harder and more painful to walk, so I decided to start looking into leg straightening surgeries to see if I could prolong my ability to walk. I found Dr. Paley after trying a few different doctors I didn't really quite trust. I found Dr. Paley at the Paley Institute in West Palm Beach, Florida. And I took a break from my time at Savannah Tech, where I was doing my medical billing and coding and my administrative medical front office assistant. And you can do that next slide too. So I did 2 different sets of surgeries. We took a 6-month break in between. They used external fixation on each leg to straighten those legs. So the whole process was about a 2-year process. And I actually gained 3 inches just from straightening. And I'm now 3 feet tall, in case you were wondering. Around my leg surgeries, around my last leg surgery, my fiance came into my life. When he met me, I just had my last leg surgery where my fixator was removed. And I was still learning how to use my new legs. I was still in physical therapy, and I could go on and on about him, but I'll just say he's a keeper. I took a year to heal, and then I went back to Savannah Tech to finish what I had started. I learned about both rehab and enrolled, which is how I started my driving journey. My wonderful fiance took me back and forth to Marietta, Georgia, over a period of 3 months for my driving training, which was a lot of hours. So like I said, he was a keeper. Once I got my license, started working, I got my car and began applying for jobs here in Effingham. I already had my administrative medical front office assistant with Savannah Tech, and I was still going for my medical billing and coding. After I applied to a few places, I began to get frustrated because I was not getting callbacks. One day I posted on Facebook that I was looking for a job, and my elementary school PE teacher saw that post, who also happens to be friends with our CEO, Lynette Bride, and they came to B&B Care Services. I started working at B&B in October 2019 as a brokering specialist. I finished my medical billing and coding at Savannah Tech shortly after. I am now the team lead brokering specialist for the Elderly and Disabled Waiver Program. I have 5 wonderful young, bright college students on my team, and we broker in-home services to the participants that we serve throughout the state. I require very few accommodations in the workplace. Next slide. I require very few accommodations in the workplace. I think with B&B, I actually got the job before I was even asked what kind of modifications I would need, which I think is very, very cool. I love my job. Prior to working at B&B, I did not know that this platform was here in Effingham County for individuals just like me. And I love that I get to educate others on the resources that we have within our own community. And I just want to say thank you all for allowing me to come and speak, to share my story and some of the experiences that I've had. And I'm open for questions. If anybody has any questions, you all feel free to ask. If not, I will be here at the booth, B&B booth, and if you want to ask about my rehab and my driving experience, I'm here. Thank you.
I will start by just telling you a little bit about B&B Care Services. We strive to help people live, learn, work, and play in the community of their choice. And so I'm happy to be here with all of these ladies today and just talking to you about the Inclusion Revolution, our young adults, Brittany, and I'm here to kind of brag about my favorite program that we have at B&B Care Services. But I want to preface it by starting with a question. So, what do you see when you see a person with a disability? And what I'd like to work on is changing that to how do we change the question to who do you see when you see a person with a disability? And as you can see here, and we've talked about with our past speakers, not all disabilities are seen. So my goal of the presentation is that you walk away thinking about how you can see a person for who they are, rather than treating them differently because they happen to have a disability. Slide 3, please. So I know that's a big question, and if we're going to address diversity, we have to begin with these questions. So I'll start by just asking you, what do you see or think when you see a person with a disability? And I thought of some things that people may see. Initially, maybe you think they have cognitive limitations. Maybe externally, you only see physical limitations, their overall appearance, maybe what they cannot do, and maybe you're just intimidated by their differences, or maybe your lack of knowledge with disabilities in general. So now I will share with you my perspective and who I see when I see a person with a disability. So who I see is a person motivated to learn a new task, a person willing to try, a person I'd like to get to know, a person who's capable, and a person who's just like you and me. Next slide, please. So you may ask how. Maybe you don't. But some people may ask, how am I able to do that? How do I see a person for who they are rather than for their disability? And honestly, for me, it's quite simple. A person is person is a person. And that sounds redundant, but don't we all remember learning that we're different? My true definition of diversity is simple. It's people, just human. And I don't think it has to be difficult. I think that sometimes we just make it difficult. But we are each different in many ways. One thing that I like to teach my child, just because I recall as a child, if I was curious or I looked at someone for too long, I'd get in trouble for staring. And so what I teach my daughter to do is don't stare, just say hello, start a conversation. So I think that's a good way for us to start, simplifying the way that we see things, but seeing beyond a disability doesn't have to be hard to do. And it allows a person to see another person's full potential while being aware of all the parts that make up that person. Next slide, please. So while we talk about potential, what is the percentage of people that have the percentage to work? I believe that it's 100%. Next slide, please. So how many of you just woke up like this? You just decided, I'm gonna wake up and I'm gonna start a new job, no skills, no experience, nothing. I just woke up like this. Maybe I'll go fly a plane today. Anybody? I'm gonna tell you, I didn't wake up and decide I was gonna be a great public speaker. But if you could be honest, no one in this room just woke up and said they're gonna do that. So next slide. The point is, I believe that all skills are acquired. I believe that we all just need someone that's gonna believe in us. Disability or not, we all have the capacity to acquire a new skill. Most of us are more motivated than others, but we still have the ability to learn if someone will take the time to teach us. I tell my teammates that we should all be learning something every day. It's never too late to acquire a new skill set, and a year down the road, we will all still be learning things about supported employment, and that is okay. Next slide, please. So, just a quick question. What do you guys think the percentage is of people with a disability that are not in the workforce? Any guesses? Okay, good guesses. Next slide, please. 62.5%. It's come down from 70%, but the most recent data that we have says 62.5%. So that's 62.5% of people with a disability that are not employed, 62.5% of people that deserve a fair opportunity to acquire a new skill, 62.5% of people that want the self-gratification of working like we all get, 62.5% of people deserve a competitive wage when they do get a new job. And through accepting each person with a disability, we can change this number right here in our backyard. So slide 10, please. So this is where I want to talk to you guys about competitive integrated employment, also referred to as CIE. So I want you to think about the 62.5% of people while we talk about the program that B&B Care Services has that we refer to as supported employment. Next slide, please. So competitive integrated employment, I will give you the long definition, but basically it's saying that even if you have a disability, you're entitled to equal pay, the same level of benefits regardless of your disability, an inclusive atmosphere to work, and opportunities for advancement. The Workforce Innovation and Opportunity Act, also known as WIOA, defines competitive integrated employment as work that is performed on a full-time or part-time basis for which an individual is compensated at or above minimum wage and comparable to the customary rate paid by the employer to employees without disabilities performing similar duties and with similar training and experience, receiving the same level of benefits provided to other employees without disabilities in similar positions, and at a location where employee interacts with the other individuals without disabilities, and presented opportunities for advancement similar to other employees without disabilities in similar positions. So slide 12, I want to show you guys the value of competitive integrated employment right here in our backyard with one of the many businesses that we work with. Can you tell me your name?
My name's Al. Okay, so the story goes kind of like this here. When he was born, found out he had growth issues throughout his years. He started school, always at school, and then he got into high school and got into a program which helped him achieve goals that he really didn't think he probably could do.
So it was interiors, we build aircraft parts. I've been with the company since 2013. Eric started a little bit after me. I first began to weld here. We do all kinds of different aircraft parts. So we have CNC machines. We do welding, painting, we have chemical lines, we do upholstery, graphics, you name it. We do everything with aircraft parts. The job that Eric has is very detailed oriented. You know, we have to produce high quality parts in the aircraft industry, and you know, we deal with a lot of tolerances and stuff. We have to be Eric. He very rarely messes up anything.
Just to see you smile, just to see you laugh. It's amazing what what he's grown up to be, the responsibility that he carries, the pride in his work that he has, and the pride in his cooking or his fishing or whatever he does it with his whole heart, and it's amazing to watch that, just being proud like that.
You want your kids to be self-reliant. You want them to be proud of themselves. I don't know what else to tell you. I mean, I am thrilled to death that my son can take care of himself now. We taught him how to wash clothes. We taught him how to cook. We taught him how to do things that he could do. The only thing I wish he would do was learn how to drive, so I don't have to get to work every day. But hey, other than that, I'm proud of my son and I'm proud of my whole family because they stick behind him.
He shows up and I really don't even worry about if he's doing the right thing or not. I mean, he has integrity. He's here when he's supposed to be here. He does the job very well. And to be quite honest, I think he does the job better than people that doesn't have disabilities. You know, he's not on his phone all the time, not talking all the time. You know, he's just doing what he needs to do on a daily basis, you know, to provide, good parts for the company.
Eric is a very likable guy, even though he doesn't speak at times, if he doesn't know you. But they like to joke. They, have a good time with him, high-fiving, just joke around with him, and it's great to see that.
Just like anybody, it doesn't matter if you have disabilities or not. If you're given an opportunity, it's going to be what you make of it. Eric came in, showed up, he put forth the work, and he's excelled, to be one of the best employees that I've had.
I couldn't ask for no better place for him to be working there.
So this video, is the perfect example of how competitive integrated employment is working right here in our own backyard. That business and so many others that are here in Effingham County are breaking the mold every day. They understand the assignment. They're giving fair, equal opportunities to people that have disabilities, and they respect their employees and they empower people. And they include employees just like Eric. Eric is one of the hardest working people I've ever met. So moving on, I'm going to just tell you how we end up finding, businesses that want to work with us in the customized employment process. So that's what we practice at B&B Care Services, called customized employment. And I'll tell you that if we all started with customized employment, we would all love our jobs today. But we don't often do that. But customized employment is the process of building relationships with employers and our participants to help them acquire the perfect fit. At B&B, we have a process called discovery. And what that really means is we're trying to discover somebody's personal genius. What that is what are your skills? What are your interests? What are your talents? What do you like to do? What do you hate to do? And then we go in and we learn those things before we move forward with finding a job. We're not just putting people on job sites because they're hiring. We don't do that. Next slide, please. So after we've discovered everything that they enjoy, we go out and we job develop. And so that's where we work in the community with employers to gain new skills or hone in on skills that people already have. And so this could involve us going around and touring small businesses. Some of the business owners may do mock interviews for us, or they just allow us an opportunity to come in and help, so that way they can do some hands-on learning of something that they're interested in. Next slide, please. So after we've, done the customization or the discovery, we've done job development, then hopefully we move on to job placement. And that's when we consider the job finished, it's the accomplishment. We place someone at a job that is their perfect fit. And at B&B, our job coaches and our employment specialists are with that person for the life of their job until they no longer need us. And that's the ultimate goal. Next slide, please. So you may be wondering how you can help, how you can be more diverse and make a difference in your own community. I encourage you to visit our website, but truly it starts with you. It starts with me. And it starts with us just treating people equally. And again, maybe believing that all skills are acquired, not just thinking, taking a look at someone and thinking about what they can't do, but thinking about what they can do and how you can help them get there. I do have a video that I typically share with new employers so I can do workforce training with their staff, but life already showed it. So I'm not going to show it again. But I think that's a great video just to kind of, see the person as a whole. That's all I have, you guys. So if you have questions, you're welcome to contact me at work. Talk to me at the booth afterwards. But thank you for your time. I appreciate it.